Hey guys, it's Mr. Hart again, and this presentation is one of my favorites. We call it "Still Figuring It Out." It's a place that I found myself in my senior year and freshman year of college, where I'm still just trying to figure out what my next steps look like. So we're hopeful that this information will be good for those of y'all who find yourself in that. Guys, we know that you've heard this question a ton of times. What do you want to be when you grow up? And as we consider that question. Sometimes as a senior high school, I think, well, I've got plenty of time, but what I want to encourage you is that you really don't. That as you get closer and closer to graduation, you want to start researching this very question. And it doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out. It doesn't mean you have to have all the answers, but at least begin narrowing down what those options might look like. Because depending on what it looks like, depends a lot on what your next steps need to be. For some of you, it might be a four-year university. And if you don't make that decision in a timely manner, those doors may be closed for the beginning of next school year. And you may have to hold off a year. That's where I found myself my senior year, that I hadn't taken the steps necessary to get into the four-year schools I wanted to. And so because of that, I had to take a year between where I went to a two-year school. Now it worked out for me and it was great, but it probably wasn't my first choice. It probably wasn't what I would have done had I taken the time to do the research I needed to figure out what my next steps look like. And so things to consider when you start thinking about careers you might be interested in. What are you interested in? What are your skills? What skills do you already have that you're good at? What education is needed in that career field, and what education are you willing to pursue? If I know I'm not willing to go to school for another 8 years, then I probably don't want to go into try to be a doctor, right? Because I know it's going to take a long time. But there's other ways I could still get in the medical field and not quite have to put in the amount of time that I would to become a doctor. So those are things to consider. Job demand is important to consider. I don't want to go into a field that in 5 years from now, the career field isn't going to exist, that it's being phased out. I want to try to get into a career field that there's going to be more jobs available than maybe even there's people applying for, to give me a better chance of getting into that field. What work conditions am I interested in? Do I want to work outside? Do I want to work in an office? Do I want to work on my own or with others? Do I want to travel as I work, or do I want to work in one place? All great things to consider. And then earnings. How important is that paycheck and how much it is? And so those are things you want to keep in mind and kind of almost prioritize. What's my biggest priority as I look at this list here, and use that to help you decide. One resource we want to point you towards is Texas Career Check. This is a great resource to go to with a lot of different resources. You can see there on this website here on the right under Explore Careers, there's options for military occupations, just trends and occupations, information about different jobs. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about that here. One of the things available on this website is an interest profiler. Some of you may have done something like this in maybe your MAPS class in middle school, where you're given different tasks and you basically answer, is that something you enjoy doing or would enjoy doing, whether or not you have the skills right now or not. And so as you answer these questions, it takes those answers and then helps come up with a list of careers you may be interested in based on these answers. I would encourage you, as you're doing this, you really want to stay away from the middle one, the unsure, as much as possible, and stick to the outside four. The dislike, strongly dislike, like, and strongly like. You're going to get better results that way if you can. When you get your results, it'll initially look something like this. It gives you different basically different categories of careers, and it gives you a score in each one. So you can see in this example, this person scored highest on social, and then next was investigative, and the lowest was realistic. And so it tells you a little bit about each of those careers, and then within them, it will give you a list of careers you can look at. And so here's a list of careers in this example. And each one of these careers, this table tells me these are good fits, how much the salary is, and the openings. And so notice that second one has a ton of openings. That would be a really good field to get into. And then each of the titles are actually a hyperlink that I can click on and will take me to additional information on that career. So as I click on it, this gives me an example. This one is a career and tech education teacher for a secondary school, so like for a high school. And here it would give me information about this career path, how much money I can make annually, what knowledge and skills and abilities I would need, as well as education, how much schooling I would need. It's a great, great resource as you begin to look into this. The thing I really like about this website is it not only gives civilian careers, but also military. So you can see how this would apply within different branches of the military. And so here is an example in the military of an aerospace engineer, what I would need, what I would do in the military with that career and what that training might look like. So another really great resource, even for our students who are planning going into the military. Another resource here, My Next Move, very similar to the one we just discussed. You can search if you have a specific career that you want to search or industry you want to research, or if you're unsure, you can do the last option there. Tell us what you like to do. When you do the tell us what you like to do, it's going to take you to the ONET website and let you take another interest inventory, and that interest inventory will lead to career similar to the other one. All these are very similar, just different options for you. Lastly, is going to be Big Future, Roadtrip Nation Career Finder, and it allows you to choose 3 areas of interest and learn about careers in those areas. You use your College Board account, so if you haven't set one up for your SAT or AP exams in the past, you need to set that up. And then once you do that, it saves the information for you. So it's a free account. Another really good resource. The benefit of this one is it will save that information compared to the others that don't save your information, although they will give you codes that you can type in the next time and will pull that information back up. So what are your next steps? Begin taking some of these assessments. Get an idea. Narrow down a list of career, not necessarily specific jobs, but career fields that sound interesting. Maybe I'm interested in working on computers, but I also think that it might be cool to look into the radio field and do something in media with radio. So now I've got 2 different career fields that I can begin researching more, exploring more, getting more information on to really see where I'm most interested in going. If possible, find somebody you're connected to, a family member, a family friend who already works in that field, and ask them questions about what they do. What does their day look like? Do they enjoy their job? What would they do differently? And it can really give you an opportunity to learn more about it. And then begin looking into what education do I need to begin reaching that goal. So you can start putting those steps in place as soon as possible. Guys, I hope you found this information beneficial. I hope that this helps answer questions, and we want to encourage you, reach out to us with any further questions you may have. Thanks.